Today, we are diving into the secret playbook that pros use to build skyscrapers, launch new apps, and pull off massive global events. We're going to demystify the PMBOK guide.
I mean, seriously, have you ever stopped to think about it? You've got thousands of different tasks, hundreds of people, and sometimes millions of dollars all in play. How on earth does that not just spiral into complete and utter chaos?
Well, for the project managers who have to wrestle with that complexity every single day, the answer, or at least the starting point, is often found right here, in this guide. It's called the Project Management Body of Knowledge, or as pretty much everyone calls it, the PMBOK guide. Now here's a really important thing to get right off the bat. The PMBOK guide is not a step-by-step do this, then do that instruction manual. It's more like a collection of best practices, a shared framework that gives everybody on a project a common language to speak. It gets everyone on the same page.
So, how does this whole framework actually work? Well, it all starts by looking at the entire life of a project and breaking it down into 5 clear phases, or what the guide calls process groups.
Probably the best way to picture this is to think of any project, big or small, as a 5-act play. You know, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The PMBOK guide essentially gives us the script for what's supposed to happen during each of those acts.
So, Act 1 is initiating. This is where the project is officially born and gets the green light. Act 2 is planning, where you map out everything. Then comes executing. The main act where the team is actually doing the work. Now, running in the background the whole time is monitoring and controlling, which is all about tracking progress and making sure things stay on course. And finally, you have closing, the grand finale where you wrap it all up and formally end the project.
Okay, so we've got the 5 phases, but that's only half the story. The guide also lays out 9 key areas of knowledge. You can think of these as the core skills you need to succeed. So, if those 5 phases tell you when something happens in the project, these knowledge areas tell you what you need to be working on. It's kind of like all the different hats a project manager has to wear to make sure the job gets done right.
And here are the 9 hats. You've got the big ones like managing the overall denigration, the scope, the time, and the cost. Then you've got the people-focused stuff like quality, human resources, and communications. And of course, you have to manage all the unknowns, which is where risk and procurement come in. Let's zoom in on a couple of these.
First up, scope management. This is absolutely critical. It's all about making sure everyone agrees on exactly what the project is supposed to do, and just as importantly, what it's not supposed to do. This is your #1 defense against what we call scope creep. You know, that thing where a simple website build suddenly turns into a massive e-commerce platform with a million features nobody asked for.
And then, of course, there's cost management. Pretty straightforward, right? This covers everything from estimating how much things will cost at the beginning to tracking spending and making sure the project doesn't go completely over budget. It's about keeping the whole thing financially on track.
Okay, so we've got the 5 phases, the when, and we've got the 9 knowledge areas, the what. But the real magic of PMBOK, the thing that makes it so powerful, is how it connects these 2 ideas. See, instead of just talking about these things separately, the guide puts them together. It shows you exactly how they intersect and interact with each other.
This table right here, this is the heart of the entire PMBOK guide. It's a matrix. It shows you, for example, that during the planning phase, you need to be defining your scope, figuring out your time, and estimating your costs. This grid is basically the project manager's map. It tells them exactly what they should be focusing on at any given moment.
All right, so you might be thinking, this seems like a lot of structure, a lot of boxes and processes. So why does it matter? What's the real-world payoff for all this?
Well, this slide pretty much says it all. Without a framework, you get the stuff on the left: chaos, missed deadlines, blown budgets, and total confusion. With a framework like PMB, you get what's on the right: control, clear milestones, predictable costs, and a common language so everyone knows what's going on. It's designed to move projects from that left column over to the right.
But, and this is a really big but, it's not about following rules blindly. The guide itself says this stuff is generally recognized as good practice. Think of it less like a rigid law book and more like a giant toolbox. The real skill of a great project manager is knowing which tools to pull out for their specific project.
So if you boil it all down, here's the crucial point. The PMBOK guide gives teams a shared vocabulary and a massive, comprehensive checklist that's been tested on countless projects. Its main job is to make sure that nothing important falls through the cracks.
Ultimately, the whole point of PMBOK is to bring a little bit of order to what can often be a very chaotic process. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Whether you're planning a wedding, launching a side hustle, or just renovating your kitchen, what's one project in your life that could use a little more of that structure?